Using the Zoom tool, isolate the upside down cup and the three colors on the screen. Notice we are working with two layers, the background layer and the text layer. Keep the background layer selected. Using the rectangular marquee tool, create a square around the cup. Go to Edit and Remove. This will remove the image from the background layer. Return the image by going to Edit, Step Backwards. We want to work with the negative space around the cup. That means the negative space around the handle as well. To do this, you'll select the Magic Wand tool. While holding Alt, reduce all the black outline of the cup and reduce the white positive space within the cup as well, leaving only the negative space around the cup and within the handle. In the background, we want to add a complementary color to the original blue that was at 230 degrees on the color wheel. Keep in mind that the color wheel renders a larger range of warmer colors when compared to the cooler colors. To find the complementary color to our blue, you'll subtract 180 degrees to the original 230 degrees, leaving 50 degrees. Photoshop sees 50 degrees as a yellow. Yellow is not the complementary to the blue. Feel free to adjust it to create a more true orange. Once you've selected the orange, click OK. And using the Paint Bucket tool, fill in the negative space around the cup with that selected color. Once the orange has been applied to the background or the negative space, we will be applying the analogous color scheme within the positive space of the cup. Using the pencil tool, create a 12 grid layout. Draw 3 horizontal lines across the cup and 2 vertical lines from the top to the bottom to create a 12 grid layout. Notice that after adding the complementary orange in the background, the black outline of the cup remains. Furthermore, notice the irregular line work being executed in creating the grids. The line variance will create a contrast between lines created in the program and lines created by hand. For this exercise, we will be using the analogous color scheme on the left, and we will be creating tint, tones, and shades from this color arrangement. Using the magic wand, select the third box in the first column. Using the eyedropper tool, select the first blue in the color scheme. Notice the color indicator at the bottom of the menu has changed. Select the Paint Bucket tool and fill in that area. Then select the magic wand and select the block to the right. Using the eyedropper, identify the next color. Using the Paint Bucket, fill in this area. Using the magic wand, select the next area to the right. Hold Shift to add the white space in the handle. Using the eyedropper, identify the next color. And using the Paint Bucket, fill in the selected areas. In the remaining areas of the grid, we will be applying the tint, tone, and shades of these hues. Select the eyedropper and identify the initial blue. Select the magic wand and select the space above it. Open the color dialog box at the bottom of the menu for the blue. Remember, to achieve a tint, you move the cursor to the left. To achieve a tone, you move the cursor on a diagonal. And to achieve a shade, you move the cursor to the bottom. Let's do a tone. The color indicator at the bottom of the menu indicates the new color. Use the paint bucket to fill in the new area. Using the eyedropper, identify the original blue that we've been using. With the magic wand, select the new desired area. Open the color dialog box and find a shade. With the paint bucket tool, fill in the highlighted area. This will be the shade version of the original blue. Find and apply the tint version of the original blue and complete the column. Move on to the next colors and find the tint, tone, and shades to the remaining colors for the analogous scheme. The result should be that at the bottom is the tint, above the originals the tone, and at the very top the shade. This should all have been executed within the background layer. Select the rectangular marquee tool and highlight around the analogous color scheme. Go to Edit and Copy. Go to Select and Deselect. Using the Zoom tool, zoom out to see the entire picture by holding Alt. Once zoomed out, go to Edit and Paste. The analogous color scheme will create a new layer. Move the layer to the right of the bottom cup. Go to Edit, Free Transform, or hit Command T. Resize this layer to a more convenient size. And center. Using the Zoom tool, isolate the bottom right cup and the analogous color scheme. Once centered, notice that on the right there are three layers: the background layer, layer 1, and the text layer. In the text layer, you have the analogous text. In layer 1, the analogous color scheme, and in the background layer, everything else. Flatten all layers. So go to Layers, Merge Visible. Everything is under one layer. Using the polygonal lasso tool, create an irregular highlight around the cup. The polygonal tool will require you to click several times to create the highlight around the cup. It will also require you to connect the two ends to finish the selection. Once completed, select the eyedropper tool to identify the color orange we had used in the previous exercise. Open the color dialog box to find a more true orange. Once you've selected this color, click OK. By using the magic wand tool and holding down the Alt button, deselect the positive area of the image, which means the black outline, the white space within the cup, leaving only the negative space or the background around the cup. Once the negative space has been selected, select the gradient tool from the tool options. To use this tool, click and drag the icon from one end to the other, all within the highlighted area. The gradient will depend on the angle of the line that you create, and the two colors selected at the bottom of the menu option. Undo what we just did, change the white color, and apply a new gradient. For this example, I've used an orange to red gradient in the background. I've also used the polygonal lasso tool to create the irregular shape around the cup. Furthermore, this has all been done within one layer, the background layer. We will be now exploring the application of the gradient tool. To do so, use the pencil To create two vertical lines, one somewhat straight, another as a zigzag. Open the bottom color dialog box and select a yellow. Once you selected the yellow, click OK. Using the eyedropper tool, select the bottom color of the analogous color scheme, the purple. This should automatically switch the top color dialog box at the bottom of the menu. Select the magic wand tool and highlight the first column. Then select the gradient tool. From the bottom, click and drag to create a line to the top. Release the icon and the gradient should appear. Select the eyedropper tool and identify the first blue from the analogous color scheme. Select the magic wand tool and highlight the middle column. Do not forget to highlight the small sliver at the top. Just hold Shift and click. Select the gradient tool and from the bottom to the top, click and drag to create the gradient. Select the eyedropper tool again. Identify the last color from the analogous scheme. Select the magic wand and highlight the remaining column. Select the gradient tool, but this time do a horizontal gradient opposed to a vertical. Within the inside of the cup, apply a gradient of your choosing. So you'll need to highlight the white space, select the colors for the gradient, and apply the gradient. Using the zoom tool, zoom out to see the entire picture. Select the pencil tool to create 4 columns within the larger jug. Now we are going to introduce overlapping transparent patterned layers. Within your photography, I expect a repetition of selected areas, discoloration, and the combination of 2 or more images. Using the magic wand tool, select the top and the bottom half of the first column. Select the eyedropper tool. Using the grid created in the upside down cup exercise, select 2 tinted values to generate a gradient within the highlighted area of the jug. Once the colors from the tinted values have been selected, select the gradient tool and horizontally apply the gradient to the highlighted parts of the jug. Interchangeably use the gradient tool, the magic wand, and the eyedropper, along with the values from the first exercise to complete the jug. Apply the gradient in a horizontal manner. Note that as you apply the gradient in the highlighted areas, a longer line will result in a more blended transition between the 2 colors. A shorter line will result in a crisper edge. Again, complete the jug with your own color scheme, interchangeably using the gradient, the eyedropper, the magic wand, and the color schemes from the first exercise. Once you've completed use of the gradient tool on the jug, open the 2 patterns provided. They will appear as tabs near the top, along with our original image. Select any of the two patterns. Go to Select All, Edit, Copy, then go back to our original image and go to Edit, Paste. Now you have two layers, layer 1 and the background, and they both have the eye icon. Go to the other pattern, do the same, select all, edit, copy, return to the original image, and go to edit, paste. At this point you'll have three layers, layer 2, layer 1, and the background. Remove the eye icon for all of them, and only leave layer 2 and the background with the eye icon. Layer 1 will be invisible. Note, I've left the background layer selected, even though I am trying to move layer 2. In order to move the pattern in layer 2, I need to select layer 2 and then move the pattern. Move the pattern over the bottom half of the jug. Remove the eye icon and select the background layer. Then select the magic wand tool. Highlight the colored areas on the bottom half of the jug, avoiding the black outlines. You'll need to hold Shift to select each color region. Notice that the program will fraction areas off depending on their color. Continue highlighting the bottom half of the jug until everything is highlighted except for the black outline. Once the area has been selected, highlight layer 2 and return the eye icon so to view the patterned layer. Using the zoom tool, magnify the bottom half of the jug. Notice how the highlighted area of the bottom half of the jug are now on top of the pattern. Next, go to Edit, Copy. Keep in mind that you'll be copying from layer 2, and you'll be copying whatever is highlighted. Then remove the eye icon from the layer 2, go to Edit, Paste, and notice that a new third layer has been created. Select the third layer again and go to Opacity. Under Opacity, you can regulate how much layer 3 integrates with the background layer. Another way to achieve opacity is to double-click on any layer. This will prompt a dialog window that will give additional blending options. Finish this part of the exercise to your liking. Just to recap, the bottom half of the jug is layer 3. Layer 2 is the original pattern that we had. Keep that invisible. We will be moving on to layer 1. Keep that visible. Move this layer to the top half of the jug. You may need to enlarge it. In order for that, go to Edit, Transform. From one of the corners you can enlarge. Notice how this layer exists between the background layer and layer 3. Further edit the image by going to Transform, Distort. This allows you to distort the perspective of the image from various sides. This can achieve a sense of space and dimension. Place this layer on the top half of the jug. Continue to further explore the options under Transform, in particular the Perspective tool. Play with this layer until satisfied and move on to the next step. Remove the eye icon from layer 1. Select the background layer. Select the magic wand and highlight the colored areas from the top half of the jug. Remember to hold down Shift for additional selections. Avoid selecting the black lines of the image. Then return the eye icon from layer 1. Use the magnifying tool to verify that the highlighted areas are still there. Then select layer 1. Go to Edit, Copy. Remove the eye icon from layer 1 and go to Edit, Paste. Play with the opacity options available to you to finalize the image. This concludes the Photoshop Basics tutorial. Move on to saving the image. By this point, you should have several layers. Go to Layers, Flatten Image. Then go to Image, Image Size. Switch the measurements to inches. Switch the size to a width of 11 and a height of approximately 8.5. Then return to Image and Image Mode, and be sure that it is in RGB. Then go to File, Save As. Type in Photoshop Basics, your first and your last name. Be sure to save the file as a JPEG, Photoshop file, or as a PNG. Then hit Save. In your post-production images, I expect the following: repetition of selected areas, eyes, heads, trees, anything you would like to repeat. Fragmentation, geometric or irregular with the marquee tools. Coloration, layering, transparency, text, distortion, and the incorporation of other images from other sources.